Hey, this is Big Papa Pump Scott's Diner.
Yes, it is me, Gerald Zipoupe.
Hey, this is Joe Gatto.
This is Eric Young.
Well, hello there. It's me, Harold the Puppet.
This is Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Ardano, and you are listening to Shootin' Poop.
Shootin' Poop.
The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at WrestlingWithJohners.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Shootin' Such Good Shoot. Because, like I said last week, we do this shit by Freebirds rules. So you've got DDJ, Isaac from Such Good Shoot.
I'm back.
So,
that's right. I was
Isaac,
supposed to be here last week, and then I fell asleep.
And we didn't talk bad about you or anything.
You should have. You should have talked mad shit. I wouldn't
did.
have noticed. I would. Good, because I was fucking out cold, man.
It was mostly Joey K.
Let him. Yeah, I woke up at 3 a.m. Cut me some slack. Where's Joey K today, huh? Having some emergency. All right. I hope everything's okay, Joey. Love you.
It's a Philly emergency. You know, they're greasing up the polls for the next Philly game or whatever the hell they do.
They ran out of pole grease.
If you want to, and if you all want to listen to all the shit that was talked last week while I was gone and Isaac was sleeping, go back in the archives and watch last week's episode.
Please do. Please.
We didn't talk shit about DDJ though. We really didn't.
You?
I know. Well, we might have a little bit.
He's a sweetheart. There's nothing you can say about him.
Right? He's the face of the whole show. You can't tear down the face. We're not the WWE.
Yeah. Oh, is he? But his internet, not the face.
But see, the thing is, well, no, my internet, it sucks. I got to get a new laptop.
I was waiting to hear what the thing was.
I was waiting for the thing too.
A little bit of a peek behind the curtain. Well, here comes the thing and stuff. But a lot of you don't know that this show started as a result of some stuff happening in another group, and it almost resulted in the end of the friendship between Jovan and I, because somebody decided to say some things that weren't true. And if it wasn't for Isaac here, we would have never gotten back on the same page, and the show would have probably never happened. So we kind of actually, a little bit of a shout out to our man Isaac here for kind of being the reason that kind of the one that got the ball rolling with this.
That's why when you start making money, I get 10%.
You gonna pimp us out like that already?
I just want my fee, man. Hey, you guys are good friends, and you always were, and you deserve to be. And you shouldn't let somebody who's obviously a manipulator and a piece of shit come between you.
That's beautiful.
No, I mean, you guys.
That's right.
You never did anything like to be like an asshole towards each other, so why not? Like, we can still hate that cocksucker, can't we?
Pretty sure Isaac's initial message to me was like, quit being an asshole. And I'm like, I'm not an asshole.
I think the first thing I said is, you owe DDJ an apology.
Oh, yeah, there you go. That's what it was. I'm like, for what? I ain't an asshole.
I was like, hey, man, you're not, but DDJ ain't either.
Yeah. That's kind of how it all went down.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you.
And we're here.
So.
Yeah, but, I appreciate you guys. Now let's get fucked up and have fun. Oh wait, no, let's just have
Jovan.
fun.
Yes.
Jovan, you think it's time to roll the opening?
I think it's time to roll the opening. I guess.
goddamn.
I want to
I
try
like
shooting
that.
shit with Isaac and his beautiful cat Nate.
Nat. We got
Nat,
Nat in the
doggone it.
house.
Nat.
It's all right, man.
Yeah,
You got
just had
Nat.
a bit of a dyslexia. It's Nat the cat.
It's all right. I'll drink.
Cheers.
Nat Turner, right? Is his full name?
Look at you. Look at you, man. Nothing gets past you, man. This man
Nope.
is a steel vault of fucking trivia. And it's wrestling related because he's a podcast cat. So
He's a wrestling
Oh,
podcast
man.
cat.
yeah. So did you guys? I didn't watch this show, but do you guys watch the Blood and Guts?
We did. I did.
Yeah, I did too.
You did too. I did. I watched some highlights from it. I saw Kota Ibushi do a bump onto Tax after the show was over for no reason.
You just need
Yeah.
to sometimes feel something in life, and I guess
Boy,
when you need to feel something, you go for Tax.
I really wish Shane was here because Jim Cornette went fucking ape shit about that. He did not like that at all. His
yeah.
tweet about it was pretty
What did he
good.
say?
Oh, let me look this one up because it's you know Cornette.
So Isaac's looking up the official. I'm going to tell you the highlights of it because I know Cornette. It's going to be something like.
But yeah, no, I thought it was really good. I mean,
I guarantee you, Cornette's going to go off and say something along the lines of, "This is damaging the whole industry. People go out there and want to see this stuff, and they want to make sure it really hurts. You're just going to do it for fun at the end? What the hell is wrong with you?"
All right, I got it.
He's got it.
double
This is the
cheeseburger.
pretend. This is the pretend play wrestler the AEW fans are salivating over. Another clown whose biggest fan is himself. Another garbage wrestler who falls into sharp shit. What a talent! He was not happy with that.
I'm sure he's giving Coda.
That's actually kind of tame by Cornette standards.
Well, that's what he said on Twitter. I'm sure he's going to spend a good long time on his podcast talking shit.
Yeah.
Because those episodes, he has episodes that go like 4 hours. I mean, it's crazy. Like, because he'll just go and he'll just fucking go off.
In his cult, man, the cult of Cornette people will sit there and just love it all.
Yeah.
There's only one.
I'm listening.
There's only one thing I can do in this world that I can do for 4 hours or more and still enjoy it, and that's sleep.
Huh. I work. I still
It's true.
I still enjoy work. Yeah, for more than 4 hours usually. But I like my job.
I can still put in the work after 4 hours. So
I've had 7 hours of sex before. That was pretty fun.
I haven't reached 7 before, but I've definitely.
Didn't you do that Didn't you do that on an episode? Hey Isaac, didn't you do that on an episode of Such Good Shoot before?
Not that, no. I mean, I did, but not for 7 hours. We don't record that long.
It started at 9:05ish and ended at fucking 5 o'clock in the morning.
It happened at least 2 times. I think it happened more than twice, but it upset us, like one of my co-hosts and good friends. So I stopped doing that. But I was getting drunk, and then it just happened, and I'm like, it is what it is. What am I going to say? No,
I'm not going to
it's
say
already
no.
it's already in your mouth, like.
Stop that! No.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad, but I felt good at the time. I feel bad now. I felt good then. One of those deals. So anyway, we're only 9 minutes in. We're not trying to dissolve into that yet. So
back to Blood and Guts.
Yeah, I'm curious. So
Blood and Guts.
So this is Coda's first appearance in AEW.
Yep. Yes, it was.
And so
yes.
the Golden Lovers reunited.
First time in AEW.
That's in a long time too. It's been.
And I believe
I believe
it was Coda's first. Javon, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't this Coda's first match like almost a year and a half or something like that?
He's been out for a minute, but yeah.
Yeah, he did GCW back during Mania. But that was the last time I remember him really doing anything. But he looked good during his GCW matches.
God.
The
Remember when he showed up in the Cruiserweight Classic?
Yes.
God, what a great fucking.
But dude,
That
that's
shit is
back
so
when
good.
anybody could show up in the Cruiserweight Classic. You know, that was very underrated fucking time.
Oh my God, the Cruiserweight Classic is like one of those rosters where you're like, wait, who is there?
And how did they not sign these guys? These guys were killers.
Dude, they had fucking Kota Ibushi from like
they had Zack Sabre Jr.
Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah, no, that was one of the most underrated, like I guess just tournaments that they've ever done, because it wasn't like much else. It was just a tournament for that cruiserweight.
And there
belt.
wasn't really much fucking fanfare over it either.
No, it was just its own little thing.
It felt like watching. That felt like watching like an indie show or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt more like watching like Brit wrestling. But yeah,
who won that tournament, DDJ?
I believe it was TJ Perkins, TJP.
TJ Perkins, who is doing absolutely shit now. I don't even think he's wrestling right now.
No, he's in New Japan. He's part of the United Empire.
Just joking. I don't like TJP. He's okay.
Yeah, but we all love the United Empire.
Yeah, we do.
Akira Tozawa was in that shit. God damn. The Brian Kendrick, Cedric Alexander.
Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Gargano and Ciampa were in it.
Jack Gallagher, Bagulak was in it.
Yep.
Gentleman Jack. I think he went on and did some MMA.
Mustafa Ali, Noam Dar.
Grand Metalik.
Yeah, Tajiri, Tony Nese.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a crazy. And then Zack Sabre Jr. That's a crazy fucking roster for a single like one-off tourney. It's crazy. Good time in WWE. NXT was rocking. Takeovers were killing it.
Mm-hmm.
Classic.
So I want to ask you guys, because I was actually thinking about this. I was thinking about this earlier today while I was at work. So with Blood and Guts in the books, and WWE doing their own version of WarGames, which one do you guys think? Who do you think is doing WarGames better, WWE or AEW?
WWE. I mean, I haven't watched much of it. Like, it feels less gimmicky in WWE. I don't know. Every highlight I've seen from an AEW Blood and Guts has been like a gimmick spot that like kind of looks like shit. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't watched it, but WWE has done a really fucking good job with WarGames since NXT took it over. I mean, they haven't produced a bad one.
The only one I really didn't like that WWE's done was that first one where it was like 3-on-3 or something. I didn't like that one, like the three.
So NXT, the first one with
very first one they did,
Undisputed Era. I love that one. We gave that 5 stars.
It's like Undisputed Era. I just didn't like that one. It just wasn't for me. But the other ones have been great, especially the one that was at Survivor Series this past year with the Bloodline versus KO, the Brawling Brutes, and Drew McIntyre. That one was phenomenal.
All right, hold on a second, because the first.
Joe Bob, what say you?
Let me just read off the first WarGames match though. It was Undisputed Era 1, so it was O'Reilly, Cole, and Fish. You had the Authors of Pain with Roderick Strong on their team. So it was Roddy Strong against Undisputed Era versus Sanity with Alexander Wolf, Eric Young, and Killian Dane. I don't know. I loved that match. I remember we all gave that 5 stars.
We gave it 5 stars on the rewatch.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be worth the rewatch, Dennis. Go back.
Yeah, I might have highly recommend.
Maybe I might see what you guys. Yeah, okay. I'll go back and give it a rewatch here.
Authors of Pain put on a hell of a match in that match. Roderick Strong went fucking crazy.
Yeah.
the whole Undisputed Era. I don't know. I thought it was good. Sanity, I was, if anything, was the weakest of it, but like there was still like you got fucking EY and Killian Dane in there, just fucking wrecking house. It was fun.
And I think the Authors of Pain too are very, very underrated, man. They don't get a lot of respect, but they, for what they did in a short time, they were a
Yeah.
pretty fucking good tag team.
One of the best big man tag teams, I think. Of had they gotten the run, and this might actually be. I'm gonna add this to my list later because I think this is a good one for that.
Uh-oh. So while he's adding to his list, I'll answer the question on Blood and Guts, man. It depends on what you like.
But
It really does. I mean, the
the top
differences
end.
in the matches
yeah,
come down to the styles. WWE is going to give you Blood and Guts where you're maybe going to get one or two high spots, and those high spots are probably going to lead to the finish. Where AEW is going to be adrenaline, 100% fucking foot on the pedal, and you're going to get spot after spot after spot after spot after spot, and they're doing it all inside this cage. So I think it does just boil down to what do you like more? Do you like the open concept with no roof? Do you like the roof? I personally think the roof this time finally played in a part with Pac doing the slingshot off of the roof was a badass move, a good spot. But it just to me it depends on what style you like of wrestling. I think WWE has done real good with their Blood and Guts or with their War Games, but AEW to me has made it more of a spectacle because of all the spots that go into. You're going into a spot fest when you see that match from them. And if you're an AEW fan, that's what you like. So
Does it? But at what point?
so you're taking a Blood and Guts over War Game?
yes.
Wow, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. But more power to you. My issue is how. I mean, it's
For War
like
Games, Siobhan? Okay. I'm gonna go with Isaac on this one. I'll take War Games over Blood and Guts because, yeah, it's War Games is always more of like a story than a spot fest, in my opinion, back in the day. And I think WWE does a better job of honoring that old school tradition. Now, don't get me wrong, I enjoy Blood and Guts just like most AEW fans, but just to me, I feel like I think the WWE I think has captured more of the essence of what the War Games really is. And I think the innovation they made with taking off the roof actually was a really good thing, because one of the things I didn't like about the old school War Games is the roof that they had. It was on way too low, so you couldn't do anything aerial, Yeah.
No, the WWE does War Games better than WCW ever did. I mean, honestly, I truly, I mean, my thing is they haven't put on a bad one. They haven't put on one that I'd be like, oh yeah, that was not good.
Even the women's War Games are really good.
Yeah, and that's my thing is like I've enjoyed every War Games match that they put on. There's really rarely anything in it that looks fucking phony or hokey or like over the top. They tell really good stories in those matches because they like it's such an important match. I feel like that like they really put a lot of thought and effort into it, almost the way they do the Royal Rumble, where it's like they don't like they just produce the hell out of it, and you can tell, and it comes out really good. And I don't know. There's my issue with a match like Blood and Guts, and you're trying to create bigger spots to do every year, is that at some point it's just like people like just throwing each other into boxes over and over again. And like it's like Hell in a Cell where it was like, well, how do we like top Mick Foley? How do we top last year? How do we top last year? And there comes a point where like somebody gets hurt and it's not worth that, to like just to do silly spots. And like Mick Foley was so lucky that he managed to walk out of the way he did. And it was kind of fucked up that they didn't like really take that as a lesson, and they just like, well, let's see what else we can do. We'll do it a little safer, but we'll like sometimes you gotta like pull it back a little. And that's my thing is like they have too many young kids who are willing to do stupid shit, and too many old fuckers who can get hurt doing stupid shit. I don't know. Maybe I'm sounding like Jim Cornette, but
Just a little bit. Just
Yeah.
a little bit.
But again, take it with a grain of salt because I don't watch. Shane would be very quick to point that out.
Shout out to Shane.
Shout out to Shane. We love Shane.
Hey, so Jovan.
Even
so,
if his mustache is a little molestery. Go ahead, DDJ.
So why don't we bring back? Oh,
what are we?
So why don't we
kind
of still shift gears here a little bit? We'll talk on we'll stick with AEW, but I want to talk about the new and possibly improved Jack Perry. I loved it. I thought it was great.
Is he going by Gentleman Jack Perry? Because that actually sounds like it could work. Get his hair all cut up and top hat, make him look a little taller. You know,
Isaac.
You know,
no. It doesn't work for me, man. It doesn't. I don't know why it doesn't. Number one, the music is garbage. Classical music is fucking garbage. It's garbage. It's ass. It's booty cheeks. It was terrible.
I think it's a temporary thing. I don't think that's going to be permanent. I don't think it's going to be his permanent theme.
Well, don't have him go out there and fucking win the title with permanent ass music, with just temporary music, because he's trying to come out as a whole tough guy. I'm a bad motherfucker, and he's got fucking classical music.
The original Mankind theme song.
Dude, it's so bad. It's like they went to freemusic.com and picked the first fucking one. They were like, "Here, this is you tonight. Go."
That's how they got MJF's theme song.
Yeah, but I mean, at least
MJF's theme song is like a free use thing on YouTube. Dozer uses it for his Diz Idiots intro.
But at least it's a good one, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fucking classical music. It sucked.
But I want to say I'm encouraged by what I've seen with this new Jack Perry, because I remember a while back saying, like, if Jungle Boy is to really become the kind of guy that I think AEW wants him to be, he has to dump that gimmick and, you know, reinvent himself. And I think we're finally starting to see that. So,
what happened to the Luchasaurus guy?
He's TNT champion.
Yep.
With what's his face?
With
Christian Cage.
Still with the mask and the dinosaur gimmick?
Yep.
Yeah. They changed the mask up because they were getting sued for the old one.
I remember that was good. That was really smart of them. These guys are like, I mean, it blows my mind that they run a business, but I mean, good for them. I mean, honestly, I'm glad that like all wrestlers have a place to wrestle. You know, I wish they had more people like Dusty Rhodes or folks like that who are around backstage who could actually talk, like teach them some more, you know. That's my thing, is like, but I don't know. It is what it is.
Well, they do, but they've got the wrong ones. Fucking Jeff Jarrett and yeah.
Matt Hardy.
Well, I mean, Matt
and Jim Cornette are beefing.
Matt actually at least is innovative in his
they
thought
are.
processes. Can't really say that about fucking Jeff Jarrett, who I'm surprised still hasn't held a title yet. It's coming though.
He's the GOAT, man. Greatest of all time. He's held the belt everywhere.
Yeah.
JEFFJARRETT.
That strut, man. Yeah, dude.
He is definitely great.
I hate it here.
I'm only doing it because it drives you crazy.
Hey, Jovan, remember that one of the first episodes when remember that one of the first episodes when Sean kind of was filling in for Joey K, how we razzed him all episode about Jeff Jarrett?
I don't remember it being a we. I remember it being a you. That's the way I remember.
I was trying to share the wealth, you know.
Oh, you're not getting me in trouble.
Anyways, I spent most of the time, and it was one of my favorite episodes ever.
I know it was.
Oh,
'cause you
I
fucked
figure
with
I've
him
already
all
dug myself in
episode.
such a deep hole with that. I can't dig myself any deeper hole.
He,
Now
he
you
was
have to
one of your
really
favorites
great.
because you got him all episode on it.
It's
You
like
put his
it's
face
like
on
Ty,
Jared's body and everything.
it's like Ty and Maria Menounos there.
You know, there's a
Like-
certain level of respect for Ty being able to always answer with Maria Menounos in a way.
Yeah, he's something,
Yep.
man.
He is a lover of one
But
Maria Menounos.
hey, okay.
Big facts.
So so since we brought up Ty and finding out a way to answer Maria Menounos, we got to go to the segment where where this all started. What do you say we go to do our
do it.
question of the week, Jovan?
I think so.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Oh, that was it. That was soup.
I guess he double clicked it. Did you double click it?
You sure did. That was quick.
ladies and gentlemen, it is now time. Shootin' Shit proudly presents the Stirrin Shit Facebook question of the week.
Well,
There we
well,
go.
well.
Question of the
Oh.
week, since we didn't do it last week, because it was a 2-man show that turned into a 3-man show for the last 10 minutes.
Because this asshole fell asleep.
Yeah, that asshole up there in the black shirt fell asleep. No, I'm joking.
No, it's true. It's no joke. This asshole in the black shirt fell asleep.
It's okay, man.
It's just the truth.
This asshole, and this asshole was recovering from being in the hospital earlier that day. So
You bastard. You
Yeah.
bastard.
Terrible choices of people that we decide to
yeah,
to commemorate wrestling with. Anyway,
I know.
yep.
Yeah, what was the question?
question of the week was my question, man. Kind of wanted to hit on the themes of the A&E shows. You know how they do the wrestling shows, and when I posed the question, the shows were coming to an end for the season. But one of my favorite ones that A&E did was Rivals, and you know they talk about classic rivalries. And I just wanted to know from the fans out there, man, from all the shooters, who would they want to see on that show? And then I even opened it up to bigger, not just inside a WWE rivalry, but what other rivalry would make a damn good episode to watch?
Oh, that's a good
And
question.
we have some pretty good answers too. And I know Isaac, I believe, answered the question because he's usually an active participant, and I wanted to let him talk about his answer here in a little bit.
What was it?
But I want to.
Yeah, I want to know what it
Oh,
was.
well, okay, we'll go with yours. You answered. Your answer was Ryback's rivalry with reality.
Yes, bro. Okay, yes. No, for real. This is watching him on Twitter is just incredible. I mean, he's so delusional. It's really wild.
Mhm.
I mean, I guess, man, that's a tough one. That's a tough one, but I think have we gotten an Orton Cena rivalries?
I don't think so,
I
but that
don't
would be a
believe
great
so.
one.
That's a good one.
Those two, that rivalry, even though they didn't, wasn't like, it was always off and on, as like I feel like the biggest rivalry for that whole generation, that whole era.
Yeah, I could agree. Jovan, do you want to read some of the answers that some of our shooters gave, or do you want me to read?
I'll do some here, man. We have Maria Menounos versus Beth Phoenix from Ty.
Gee, what a shocker.
Michael Oliver put down the Tito and Valentine rivalry for the IC belt.
That's a good one.
Dave Canning from those wrestling, whatever the hells, put John Cena and Edge.
Nerds.
And we don't want to say that. They just cheated us out of a wrestling whatever's now.
We don't even talk about. We don't even address that at all. That never happened.
Exactly. My mom put the Undertaker and Kane's rivalry, which would make a good episode. Because
Didn't they do one on the Undertaker? Didn't they do one with Undertaker and Kane?
I don't know. I have to go back and check. Your cousin Jerry,
the first season, or I thought they did, but no, that would still be a really good one, even if they did. Mm-hmm.
Your cousin Jerry took mine, man. Honestly, one of my
Oh,
top
God.
picks with Bruiser Brody against Abdullah the Butcher. That was actually going to be the one I brought up on the show.
Yep.
Also, Savage and Steamboat from Jeff. Kenny said Matt Hardy and Edge, which would be real good because, there was a lot of personal shit going on in that one. And then I'm going to drop this one with a warning. If you don't like this guy, close your ears for a few seconds, but it would make a fantastic episode if they ever were to do it. And it would have to be non-WWE, of course, but Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit. It's a hell of a rivalry.
Yep.
It
was.
But yeah, no, we got a lot of good answers, man. Jimmy,
buddy
Jimmy out there, Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman.
Superpowers Comics.
Also, he wants to make sure that we throw out there Dennis versus the Dino Nuggies, especially the Stegosaur Dino Nuggies. Why do you have issues with the Stegosaur Dino Nuggies?
Too many points.
Too many points.
That's the crispy part. That's good, man.
Okay. So we also had a couple really good tag team ones. Kenneth wrote the Midnights versus the Rock and Roll Express. I think that'd be a phenomenal one.
That'd be great.
And then Alex Scars had the Revival versus DIY because they had some really good ones too. So
they tore it up.
So Isaac and Jovan. So they did. So you mentioned that you were originally going to go with Brody and Abdullah. Since that one was already addressed, what do you got?
So mine, I went back into the memory banks for, and it's a rivalry here that I'm gonna leave it very open-ended, but I'm going with the Von Erichs and Ric Flair. And the reason I say just the Von Erichs, it's the storyline to how Flair dropped the belt at the Cotton Bowl. It goes through almost every Von Erich. So it has to be the Von Erichs versus Flair.
As soon as you had mentioned the Von Erichs, I thought you were going to go the Von Erichs versus the Freebirds.
That would be a great one too. I think I saw something where the Freebirds, they did one on the origination of the Freebirds. Not too long ago I saw, but Von Erichs and Freebirds will also be another great one. But I think just for like one-off solos and to be able to tell a real good story, the Von Erichs and Flair, because that has that big title. But the Von Erichs and Freebirds, man, that's a hard one too to pass up. That's history.
Yeah. So
I think
so.
I mean, I got one more to throw out, and I know it's been done in all sorts of other forms, but honestly, it's probably I don't know, it's one of the best rivalries, and still, like decades later, people question whether it was real or not, and that's Jerry Lawler and Andy Kaufman.
Ooh. Well, they did that one Dark Side of that Dark Side of the Ring episode. I think that second one they did about Memphis, I believe, was mainly around Lawler versus Kaufman. But man, that would be a really good one.
I mean, it's just there's so much there, and Kaufman, talk about one of the best like non-wrestlers to ever get in the business and like come in as a celebrity. I mean, he just got it, he got nuclear heat everywhere he went. But yeah, I think that would be really interesting. They got a lot of good footage.
We talk about celebrities that come in and physically can go in the ring, like your Logan Pauls, Bad Bunny. But Andy Kaufman was the first one that brought it on the mic.
And just the mental side of it, like he could talk, but he
got
also
the theatrics.
He understood you. He understood the whole idea of it, and he
knew
the
that, fucking stretcher to take him out into the ambulance.
Yeah, but he knew that nobody wanted to see him wrestle. They wanted to see him get his ass kicked. So he'd go out there and beat up women and drive them crazy, and he did that all over the place until he finally got to that point where and it's like hiring these women, and it was such a good gimmick. Like, and he brought it to Vince Senior, and Vince Senior is like, no, we're not interested. And so he brought it to Jerry, and I don't know. There's a lot of stories there. I think that would be really interesting. But
I like the way you think.
yeah, I don't know. Go real old school. I was just thinking.
So for me,
some of the old ones. Well, I want to hear you now. I want to hear what you got. Maybe DDJ, are you still with us, baby?
He's on DDJ time delay.
I'm here.
Oh, okay, he's back.
No,
for
my
you,
yeah.
You're good.
So for me, so I had a couple in mind, and I'm gonna just throw out my 1A, and that would be Tommy Dreamer versus Raven, because to me that is one of my all-time favorite rivalries. But the one I'm gonna go with, and I think it could work because it literally everywhere that these two went, they've either been the best of friends or the worst of enemies, and that's Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I think that would be just a fascinating, because you can talk about how they got their start together, their time in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, Ring of Honor, when they had the Ladder Wars matches, and then just through NXT, when Sammy won the title, KO turned on him, and then they brought it to the main roster. So I think that's one of the greatest rivalries of all time, and hardly anybody mentions that when you're talking about the all-time great rivalry.
Those guys,
give me Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I'd be
it's a great one.
I'd be in front of my TV, popcorn in hand. So
another one that would be good.
So that was our question of the week. Great job, Jovan.
I got one more. I got one more quick answer, and it's a tag team one. But I think it would be interesting to see one that's all on the matches between the Dudleys, the Edge and Christian, and the Hardys. I think the rivalry between those three tag teams in the late 90s and early 2000s could be really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even if it's just like
I think
all
so
like
too.
just
That's
them
a
try
really
to
good one,
outdo
too.
each other and what they can accomplish. But yeah. Anyway, enough of the question of the week. We've questioned the question and we've answered it thoroughly.
Thoroughly.
So Isaac. So first off, thanks for coming in and filling in and helping us out this week and stuff.
Hell
you had
yeah.
something in mind that you wanted to run by.
Yeah.
So what do you got?
This is something that's been in my head, and it's this idea. Sometimes you talk about a wrestler, and you're like, man, this fucking wrestler, that wrestler, and like, they were so good, but they're just in the wrong era. If only they had been in the right fucking era, they would have been the biggest star in the business. And I don't know. I've got a list of some names who. I think some of them might have been in the right era. Some were stars, big stars in the era they were in, but maybe they would be even bigger stars in a different era. Some that, didn't really hit where they were, and maybe somewhere else. And some maybe they're right where they're supposed to be. And then you can also say, if we choose a different era for somebody, we can also, go and say, okay, what kind of rivalries do you think they would have, and with who? What would be a good match for that? So that's what I've been cooking with, and I think the one that we were talking about earlier that I think is a good one would be the Authors of Pain. Is that are they in the right era? Would they have done better in the golden era? Like the 80s. I mean, would Authors of Pain gone out and just been like the competition to the Road Warriors?
I see. To me, with the Authors of Pain, I would probably say maybe not. I don't know if they would have been. They would have done it in the 80s because, again, the Road Warriors were at the top of the mountain, and I don't think anyone would take them. But if you ask me, I think where the Authors of Pain really would have excelled would have been during the Attitude Era with all those tag teams they had then. With the Dudleys, Edge and Christian, the Hardys, Too Cool, or
because they could have gone.
They could have been. Yeah, I think I think they were. If they would have, they could have really, I think, been something special during the Attitude Era, because again, that Attitude Era was stacked.
The authors of Pain, in my opinion, they don't suffer from being in the wrong time. They're in the right time. They're in the right, period in wrestling. They suffer from being in the wrong place. Had they had gone to Japan, the authors of Pain would have been the biggest fucking thing of all time. You could have dropped them boys in Japan at damn near any time, and they would have been over, because that's what they like. Those big-bodied foreign monsters, they are always over in
They
Japan.
were great. I loved them.
So I think they suffer from being in not the wrong time, but the wrong place.
Okay. I got someone
really
who I
good.
think
I like that.
I think we got someone who was in the right place, but at the definitely the wrong time, and that was Jacqueline or Jackie. I think given a shot during the women's revolution or a little after, someone with her ability and athleticism and other physical assets and talents. I know.
He had to go there.
Yeah, of course. But no, like I think she would have been a really good addition to the current roster in her prime.
Jackie and Bianca Belair. That would have been a hell of a match.
That's something I didn't know I wanted until just now.
Yep.
Yeah. She definitely was in the wrong era. She was in the era of when the ladies were expected to look good but not wrestle.
Yep.
She's a legit wrestler, bona fide badass. Drop her nowadays. I mean, Bianca Belair would be a great matchup. I'd even like to see her against Rhea's doing some great things. Rhea Ripley. But that's
Sasha,
even
Charlotte.
Monet, Charlotte. But that's because these ladies that we're mentioning are workers.
Yeah, Rhea, Charlotte.
These are workers. And if you put her up with somebody that's like that, with a worker, she's going to work. And that's what she missed out on in her career. She never got the chance to work.
Well, it's in a similar vein of that. What about Luna Vachon? Do you think she would have done better in the climate where it wasn't as like where her wrestling talent could have been more than the craziness, or would she have been better if she had been, like at her peak in the 80s?
DDJ, you go, and then I'll go on Luna.
Because I'm torn between that, because I do think she was at the wrong time, because what a talented fucking wrestler she was, and personality, and larger than life. I just think that she was at the wrong time. I mean,
you know what? Now that you bring, and I was thinking about it as you were talking. Yeah, I mean, you throw her there with, I think in the same, you could just basically everything we just said about Jacqueline. You could just basically take her, replace Jacqueline with Luna, and pretty much say pretty much the exact same thing. And I think it would be just as valid.
I mean, think about Luna Vachon instead of Alexa Bliss with crazy Bray Wyatt.
Oh,
yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, I mean, and as a team, there would be much more interesting. And then she would actually be able to go out and wrestle, like wrestling Nikki Cross or something, like.
All right. So,
I'm curious what you're like. Yeah, fuck that.
Bit of a hot take. Luna Vachon was in the right time period. Okay.
This is a hot take. I'm curious how this is going.
She was underutilized because they never let her work. But the character of Luna Vachon fit perfectly in the time that she was in. Her character would work from the 80s all the way to the 90s, right? Just the way she is. And this is where I'm going to play the devil's advocate and being able to see 2020. Luna Vachon did more for the industry being in her time period than I think she would being now. Because she influenced people who wanted to go out there and do it because they saw glimpses of what she can do. So I think the style, her character, and what she actually brought to the industry, I have to say she was in the perfect place at the perfect time. She was underutilized,
Wicked.
but from
I would
what
love to
what
see.
it meant, she had to be there.
I would love to see a
That's a really
program
good
with.
take.
Okay, here's one thing, and let me just ask if this changes your mind. But a program between Luna Vachon and Asuka.
I'd buy it.
Yeah.
But that's just like saying a program between Luna Vachon and Bull Nakano.
Well, they could have done that. And they didn't.
Exactly.
That was the right time, and they didn't do it.
That's
That's
the thing.
yeah. That's what I'm saying is that they dropped the ball so hard that yeah, it's hard to say. But I guess if we're just fantasy booking, if you use her in the right time and use her properly, okay, all right. You know what? I like that argument. I don't
Yeah.
agree, but I like it. All right. How about a guy like Ken Shamrock?
I'm gonna go
I
first.
think
So I
he
can
was.
get
I think
Matt
he
kicked
was
out.
good. Okay, go ahead, Jovan. Sorry.
It's okay, man. We know we're working on a delay with you a little bit. I'm
Yeah.
gonna say this because DDJ likes a lot of people. DDJ could be positive about just about any wrestler. Um, I believe Ken Shamrock never worked. The reason Ken Shamrock never worked is he relied on being an ultimate fighter in a time where the ultimate fighting was just starting to break out. Um, to me, Ken Shamrock is not a wrestler, pro wrestler. I understand he's had some great matches. He's had some good matches with one of my favorites of all time with The Rock. But to me, you take out Ken Shamrock, you don't lose anything anywhere of any time period. And you put him anywhere, I don't see him bringing a necessarily boost to his career anywhere. He's a serial mid carder who just got stuck there because he was a face, he was a name, but I don't think he was necessarily the best wrestler. And
I
I'm
loved
gonna leave it
watching
there.
him. I love watching him fight.
Well, I know you did.
I think he was in the wrong era. I think Ken Shamrock, you throw him in the ruthless aggression era. Oh my god. Fucking incredible. I think it would be the fucking just the best. Him going against guys like
You know,
Benoit and Cena and Orton. I don't know.
you know what though? I I like that. I like Jovan's take as well too. But I'll kind of even go a little further down into the future. I think now because you have guys like Brock Lesnar, you have guys like Filthy Tom Lawler. I mean, you have a lot of guys that have MMA training and stuff who have kind of the MMA fighters kind of finding you're starting to see more of that in the WWE.
Ronda,
I mean,
Matt Riddle,
Riddle,
Ronda
um,
Rousey.
yeah. See, I think he might. I think if anything, if he was to be placed in any different era, I think he'd be one of those guys that. I mean, he may not be like a world beater or anything like that. He may be what Jovan said. The serial mid carder or whatever, the perpetual mid carder. But I think he might have been a little bit more, maybe I guess to say legitimized if he was wrestling. I think more like in this era. I mean, he wrestled for Impact. I think it was like a couple years ago. It still looked great, by the way. But I mean,
thought
yeah,
he
I
was
would
in it.
say
I remember as a kid just
Steroids are a hell
being.
of a thing.
I remember as a kid just being like, okay, this guy's a wrestler, this guy's a wrestler, but this guy's a real deal. Like, there was a few guys I felt that way about. Like Vader was one of those guys. Was like, yeah, this guy's fucking legit scary. Blackman, I was scared of as a kid.
Maybe in number one, Steve Blackman, yeah, will fucking kill you because he was also a bounty hunter. But
he still is, I think.
yeah, Steve Blackman was the real fucking deal. But the thing with Shamrock, and I maybe it was booking, maybe it was gimmicky, what the way he did his move sets, because you see guys who came after him from MMA, your filthy Tom Lawlers, your Ronda Rouseys, your Brock Lesnar's. For all purposes, Brock Lesnar to me is not an MMA guy. He's a wrestler who came back from MMA. changed his character a little bit.
Greatest of all time, I
But
think at this
debatable. We need to have a debate on that one day.
point. The longer he goes, the harder it is for me to deny it.
That's
I
fair.
don't know. I mean,
But
the guy's
I'm
a
throwing
legend. But anyway,
I'm throwing Lesnar out of that mix of MMA fighters, but I'm adding in Shayna Baszler, and the ones
yes.
who are successful at it bring a heavy dose of that MMA reality to it, and the moveset's heavily based on the MMA. When Shamrock did it, he was based strictly on mat catch wrestling. Not MMA, not the strikes as much, but he was more of a let me get you down, let me grind you out, and ankle lock.
But that was a lot of what the early like MMA was. It was either like that or ground and pound, and
It was he was a habit of the
was,
time, yeah, but
yeah,
it wasn't sexy. That's what I'm saying.
yeah. All right, all right. How about Great Khali? And now I know Great Khali is not a good wrestler. I know Great Khali, if you put him in a match in 2023, would be dog shit. But what if you had Great Khali in the territory days?
If you had Great Khali,
Or even in the 80s.
I'm
Even,
going I'm going 70s. Khali in the 70s. Give people an attraction outside of Andre.
or
And
an
that could have
opponent for Andre.
or an opponent for Andre. But that could have been your second big guy that could have toured everywhere. And you could have had him go against the Hogans. You could have had him go against, some of the guys back then that would have been younger guys.
So much easier to protect them.
Yeah. He might be misplaced because he had a lot of charisma. He didn't speak English.
Yes.
But
Being a giant foreigner would have been
but a
great heat
giant,
in the 70s.
yeah, he was.
Oh man,
That's a good one. He was misplaced, and I never really thought of that because we think of him as a gimmicky guy, but
I didn't either.
Out of time, he would have been bad.
So if you put him in the territory days, do we consider him one of the greatest big men of all time? If he
would have
properly?
been there with Andre. If
Yeah,
done
that's
right.
Isn't that crazy?
If done right, he would have been with Andre just on the size, dude.
Well, we just blew some people's minds. I think even our own's right now by saying that Khali had the potential to be one of the greatest big men of all time. All he had to do was do the same thing he did just 40 years earlier. That's crazy. Okay.
That was a good one. That was a good fucking mindfuck. I like it.
Let's talk about CM Punk.
That's a really good one.
Where do we see him? Where's he? I mean, is he at his best?
I would have
during
loved
the
to have
Attitude Era. Just going out and being able to cut
I would have loved
promos
to have
all day
seen
and
him
say whatever he wants.
I would have loved to have seen him in like when ECW was in its prime. Like I think he would have. That would be he's really one of those ones. I think anywhere you put him, I think he would have found a way to make it work. But I think like mid-90s ECW, like right around as they were gaining steam and getting ready to go national with like pay-per-views and stuff, I think that would be the place to put him.
Just that attitude he had would have been great at that point.
The look that he had.
And being in Philly and being straight edge in the ECW locker room. Would have been its own thing too.
All intents and purposes, I would recuse myself from the CM Punk conversation. So that's a
what? Jesus Christ!
Everybody on this show knows how I feel about Charles Manford Punk.
I mean, would he have been better in a different era?
I can't say yes to that.
Okay, how about this one? Superstar Billy Graham. What do you think would have happened had he been even 10 years later at his peak, at his prime? Like hit his prime in the mid to late 80s.
That's hard. Does the original gimmick beat out the one that copied him?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is like, man, that whole era was just like so based on him.
That's
That's a
tough
hard
because
one.
with Superstar, that's a really hard one because
I mean,
I
I
just
know
think
if he's not
because of
in
the
the
fact that
70s,
you know.
there is no 80s, but
Mhm.
if we assume that things stay the same, but does he become the biggest star of that era, bigger than someone like Hogan?
I
Oh,
don't
that's
know
gonna be
because it
hard.
would have had to take it something that would have to be something like really really special because there wasn't anything bigger than Hulkamania in the mid 80s. Like
But
it would
that's
have
the thing.
really and I
Was Hogan so big because of Jimmy Graham before him? Because
I don't know
Hogan
if
is
he was
just a
bigger because
repackaged.
I don't know if he was bigger because of Jimmy Graham because Jimmy Graham wasn't even born I don't think yet when
Oh,
Hulkamania was on. It's
superstar,
been a while.
superstar Billy Graham. You know what I meant.
Billy.
God damn it.
Yeah, no, I mean that's the thing is like he stole so much from him. It's a
That's
really interesting thought.
yeah. Who
Um,
who would have Vince put his horse on more? Would he have gone for the bald? Well, he wasn't even bald at the time. He still had some hair, Hogan, but Superstar had the mean chops, boy, the mutton chops.
and he was just big, or
He was a big
he
fucker
was a
too.
big fucking dude. I think. I mean,
And he was way more colorful too.
Yeah.
but he was kind of an asshole, wasn't he? More notorious of a prick, even than Hogan. I
Mm.
mean, I could be wrong about that, but I don't know. I think that'd be an interesting. What about
It's a
Beth
good talk though.
Phoenix?
Beth Phoenix in the place that she's in right now, she's a Hall of Famer. I think you take Beth Phoenix out of that,
Yep.
she may no longer be a Hall of Famer. So she was where she needed to be.
That's an interesting take. I mean, do you think she?
I agree with Jovan 100% there.
I wonder. I mean, I wonder if you put her in, with this class of women, she still puts on matches
Do
that get
do
her
you,
there.
do you want to know what Beth Phoenix is of right now? Natalia.
Yeah, and
She can go. She pulls out great matches with these ladies, but for some reason, she's just not getting over.
and
You
I,
take Natalia and put her back with Beth Phoenix when she first started, Natalia might be a fucking Hall of Famer right now too.
I think Natalia will be,
Mm-hmm.
and
She's
not
I
for
agree. I
and
think
not
Natalia
for
will be a Hall of Famer.
and not
yeah,
for any accomplishments, because she really hasn't
done much, but like most
she's
losses, most matches,
but
most
she's also been there, and I
yeah.
mean, she's one of the hardest working women that
She'll
they've
be a
ever
lifer
had.
award for sure.
Yeah. Um, I
But
got a
Beth
couple.
Phoenix was the first ballot Hall of Famer.
I got a couple more. Here, and we can.
All
We
right,
don't
yeah,
have
we're
to go.
coming up
We don't
on
have
an
to.
hour, so yeah, we got a couple more,
Yeah,
and then I think we're
give us
ready to.
give us about one more good one, and then we'll hit to final thoughts.
Let's talk about. Let's do. I'm gonna throw out. I'm gonna throw out. Let's do FTR quickly.
Oh,
Are they in the right era?
Put them in the
they're
80s.
yeah. I
Put them
think
in the
that's the
80s
only
with
team
yeah.
that
Are
I'm
they?
gonna agree with Dennis. They honestly they're timeless. They could have gone anywhere.
Because I was just thinking how
Mm-hmm.
good they would have been against like Edge and Christian and the Hardys and the Dudleys.
But you know
Yeah.
what though? But I'll give you that. I'm gonna go like I said. I say put them in the 80s because everybody compares them to Arn and Tully. So there's your match there. Put them against like the Hart Foundation, the British Bulldogs, the Rockers, the the Rougeau brothers. I just think they as big as good as they are now and as big as they are now and as much as they've achieved. I think you could take that and maybe double it if they were in the 80s. I think they would have been like something's like the Rock and Roll Express, the Midnight Express. I mean,
Yeah,
I think that they're good, but man, just put them in that 80s era with all those tag teams.
I think that would have been a good one, especially going around the late territory days. All right, one last one, and it's Kurt Angle. He's a guy, and he was so good in the era he was in. But
Mhm.
then I also look at like just how like what a naturally. I mean, this guy is, one of the best pure wrestlers of all time. One of the quickest and most just fluid, like transplants from amateur quote unquote wrestling to pro wrestling that I've ever seen. And I mean, Perk Angle put on some of the craziest matches you'll ever see. But can you just
My
imagine?
favorite iteration is Perk Angle.
Yeah, but I mean, Kurt Angle in his prime against like Finn Balor or any of these guys, Seth Rollins versus fucking
I'm gonna double
Kurt
down on
Angle
what
in
I
his
said on
prime.
FTR with Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle is timeless.
Hmm.
Could be in any generation and actually work. And the thing with Angle is because he was that legit wrestler.
Hmm.
I think Kurt Angle is as close as the original basis of wrestling as you're ever gonna get. The Carney strongmen who were actual wrestlers. I think Kurt Angle is as close to that as you're gonna get. That's why he can go throughout any generation.
Yeah, you got a guy like him or Brock Lesnar where it's like they're so legitimate that like even when they're doing it phony, you're like, yeah, that's real.
Dude, Kurt Angle and fucking Harley Race
Yep.
would have been
Now
balls.
here's a quick follow up. Does a guy like
But
Stone Cold
okay,
Steve
so
Austin?
here, can I
Oh yeah,
throw
yes,
something out there
please.
too? I guess.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, this. Apologies for the issues with my camera and stuff. But how about Kurt? If you were talking like the wrestler, I want to go to Kurt Angle, like the showman with the Olympic gold medals and the three eyes and stuff. Give me Kurt Angle versus the Iron Sheik.
That should have happened.
Ooh,
That should have happened.
that would have been good.
Because
That would
they,
have
they
been
had a
really
hell of
good.
a rivalry and she couldn't even compete.
Yep. I'm into it. I'm just my question is does
But
Stone
yeah,
Cold
give me
Steve
that when she
Austin
could compete.
does Stone Cold Steve Austin is he the biggest wrestling star if he competes now in this era? Or does he
No.
You know what? I'm almost inclined to say yes. Because we're seeing it happen again. And that's the
I
only
think there are
reason I'm
two.
going to say yes.
I'm gonna say no because I feel like we see too many like society is kind of what it is and stuff, and I think it's more be like but I think because Austin came around when he did and stuff, and that's why I think that it was something. I just don't think if the Stone Cold Steve Austin character started now, I don't think people would have flocked to it as they did back in the day because back
I
in
don't think
when
he's
he
nearly as
did,
timeless.
there wasn't that out there. There was no one like him out there.
Yeah, I don't think he's as timeless as
I don't think
guys like.
I don't think I think he was. I think
No, you're good. I agree. I think you put him anywhere
you
else.
keep him where he is.
You put him anywhere else, and he doesn't succeed the way he did.
I would like to agree with that, but I've just got
Then you
something
fucking better.
tearing at the bottom of my soul, saying that Austin could survive.
Is it adrenaline?
Now. It's not adrenaline, but the reason I'm saying Austin more than likely could make it now is LA Knight. I mean, LA Knight is the best of The Rock and the best of Austin put together, and you've got LA Knight.
He's a good talker.
He's a talker, and
Okay,
Austin
I'll
was
give you
too.
that.
Austin could cut a hell of a promo,
But
they don't do the things that got Austin over.
Well, they don't let guys create their own promos like that. So Austin would if he was just coming up in this area, he would have to read what they wrote for him.
That's true.
And do you think he would be able to get over with that and not saying just being authentic. Because Austin just being Austin and being authentic in himself, like I'm sure he could fucking win over a lot of fans, but if they're giving him suffering succotash to work with,
Yeah, I think that's Austin is one you have to leave alone. He has to
Yeah.
stay with himself.
I think that's true. I think that like he's such a product of that time and that moment, like Hulk Hogan, like Austin, even Cena. Like I think those guys are so important to that time that you take them out of that context and they just don't work anyplace else.
Right. Well, we've gone a little long, but we've had a lot of good conversation towards the end with Isaac's questions. I loved it.
It was good. It was good. We had fun. I like that.
We blew
That
some
was
minds,
fun.
I guarantee.
I know.
Guarantee you some
With that
minds were
Great
blown.
Khali, man. Great Khali, the greatest of all
That's
time.
the one that did it.
Uh,
Gentlemen, I'm going to let y'all start final thoughts so I can go do something. I'll be right back.
Okay. DDJ, what's your final thought? How does
All right,
this work?
so basically we just talk about final thought is just we each get some time just talk about one thing, either wrestling related or whatever, and stuff. And it's just it could be anything, it could be something happened in life or whatever. And for me, my final thought is going to be you know me, Isaac. I'm pretty, with my friends and stuff. I'm very loyal to my friends and thanks. But I mean, like with friendships and stuff, I treasure my friendships that I have with everybody. And when my friends succeed and have opportunities to, live out their dreams, I try to be their biggest supporter. And I got to actually experience that earlier this week as a really good friend of mine. But he's been around the Chicago wrestling scene for a number of years. He goes by the Red, and he goes by the name of C Red. Excuse me. And he actually was on this week's episode of NWA Power. Is his debut with the NWA. He was managing a guy by the name of Mario Pardua, who I just saw for the first time a couple months ago. It was really, really impressive looking wrestler. He actually kind of reminds me a lot of The Rock with his build and stuff. I think I'm going to see him. When this episode drops, it'll be later tonight. I'm going to an independent show with our friend, with our friend Ty, after work and stuff. And I just was so happy to see my buddy C Red on NWA TV this week and stuff, And he calls a lot of his friends and stuff. Like he told me I can call him Uncle. So to Uncle Red, I'm so proud of you, man, for being able to achieve your dream and being on NWA, man. And just when your friends get to do things like that, man, don't be jealous. Be supportive of them.
Hell yeah. That's what's up, man.
Isaac.
Well, my final thought. I figure you got a little serious. For those of you who don't know, I live in Vermont. Vermont this past week got hit with the worst flooding that we've seen since 1927. The state capitol was under about 5 feet of water. Another town over was under about 4 or 5 feet of water. The next town for me was under about 6+ feet of water. It was really bad. I mean, I just barely got my drinking water back yesterday. So if anybody has any inclination to just go check out the Vermont state website and see how you can help, because there's a lot of people who have lost everything and just have no means of recovering from this. So that's my final thought. If you can help out some people who are in some need right now, this would be a good time to do it.
That's beautiful.
Oh, you're beautiful,
man. Those photos you showed though
Well
really
said.
broke my heart, man. How much water there was,
it's
bridges
crazy.
collapsing.
I mean, it's absolutely. I was here for Hurricane Irene, which was really devastating, but this was way worse. I've never seen the whole, the whole fucking downtown of the capital of the state just that far underwater. My buddy was trying to swim down his road to go, get his girlfriend's car out of the parking lot before it flooded, and like it was like 6.5, 7 feet of water, propane tank, like giant propane tank shooting down the fucking road because it's like punctured. It's crazy, man. A lot of craziness. So yeah, there's a lot of people who are just rebuilding, and we'll get through, but there's people who need just clothes and clean food and fucking water, and there's a lot of businesses that could use a hand. So yeah, just keep that in mind.
We'll have to find a link to some kind of Vermont assistance thing and put it on our show notes.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, just go to the go to the
Yeah.
state site, Vermont. I think it's vermontstate.org or something like that, or .gov, and they got links to a bunch of places that resources can be sent and stuff. But there's always there's a lot of Red Cross around, and there's just a lot going on. So anything you find that can help out anybody, is I was out just delivering water, so just simple shit.
Nice.
Yeah, that's my final thought. And if you can't do it for us, find go out and check on your neighbors. Make sure your people are okay. That's another final thought for your ass.
Doubling down. That's beautiful. Well, my final thought, we can wrap it up tonight, is it's gonna be based on pro wrestling. Both of you guys gave beautiful, heartfelt sentiments. I'm gonna bring it around with right now, and we've said it a lot in the past few months, but with the amount of wrestling going on right now, there's definitely something out there for everybody. Like DDJ just said, his Uncle C Red broke it on NWA. We have literally every single night of the week has some form of wrestling one way or another, and that's not including any of the streaming services that you can get. There's the streaming services. Honestly, if you wanted to, you can watch wrestling 7 days a week, damn near 24/7.
Especially if you have the network or whatever.
Yeah, the network, Fight Plus, IWTV for all the indie stuff.
New Japan.
New Japan. I mean, I got everything, and I watch a fair amount of wrestling when I'm not doing anything. I'm watching wrestling, but
it's the best time there's ever been to be a fan.
It's the best time to be a fan, and that's the one thing
I
don't get.
It
is you don't see fans of other, I guess I don't want to say sports, but other forms of entertainment shitting on people because they like one specific form of entertainment, except for your Star Trek and DC and Star Wars guys, your Marvels and your DC
anime
guys, your anime and your hentai fans. But guys, just because they do it don't mean we have to do it. Just watch wrestling, baby. Find what you like. Watch what you like. You could be a sick fuck like me and enjoy deathmatch wrestling. I really fucking love deathmatch wrestling. And the Australia deathmatch wrestling, the best of it all. So find what you like and watch it. That's my final thought.
I like watching bad wrestling and talking shit about it.
That's what they do on Such Good Shoot, where you can see me and Isaac. Isaac, where do you guys shoot episodes?
I don't know.
Sometimes I'm on there too. Sometimes
you are. You're our number one correspondent.
The last one DDJ was on, I think Shane beat him in wrestling trivia like 1-0.
No, DDJ showed up on our last episode. You and DDJ both, and we were fucking hammered. I barely remember. We went 2 hours of us just drunk rambling. It was one of the most fun episodes we ever done. I just remember you guys popping in because you recorded Shootin Shit. And you got done, and we were still going. And yeah, you showed up, and it was just like, That was good.
It's a different time over there on Such Good Shoot, guys. If you want to give them a look up, we'll link to them too. That way, you guys. I mean, we've done plenty of crossovers with y'all too, so I mean, they could watch it there.
You know us, and that's probably why you don't watch.
No, people need to know what good matches there were from the Fall Brawl of 1993.
Yeah, 0.
Yeah.
0. Oh shit. Well, thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure. I love you guys. I love your fans. They're so beautiful. Especially you, Jen. You're gorgeous. So thank you.
Oh, shout out.
Shout out to Jennifer, whichever you prefer to be known as, Miss Jennifer.
DDJ, take us home, buddy.
Attention wrestling fans and fans of Shootin' Shit podcasts. You can now be one of the cool kids by going to ProWrestlingTees.com and buy the official Shootin' Shit t-shirt. Buy it now and be there at ringside.
Legends of the Ring Sting, man. This is a great figure, old school figure. Looks great. It's Sting! Old school Sting from WCW. Guys, you know us, 3/4 of the Shootin' Shit team, and we're here with a listener just like you guys. This is Jimmy from Super Powers Comics.
My friend of almost 20 years. He's known him since you were 12.
If you know people in Chicago, you probably know Dennis because he knows half the town, of course. But shooters, if you need action figures, comics, wrestling memorabilia, we just showed you Sting. Superpowers Comics will put up their QR code so you can get a good look at everything they have coming. Give it a shot, shooters. Get your superpowers on and get your comics from our friend Jimmy, who listens just like you.
Be sure to check us out on YouTube at www.youtube.com/@SHOOTINGSHT. Find us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/groups/SHOOTINSHT. Check us out on TikTok at SHOOTINSHIT. And you can buy your official Shootin' Shit shirt at www.ProWrestlingTees.com/SHOOTINSHT. And thanks for watching.